my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I hope you were able to get out in nature somewhere. And right now, as you can see, it is quite dark out here. And it does get dark early now as the times have, fall behind. So anyway, I hope you were able to get out, and not only to get out I hope that you are being kind to yourself and others. And I know we just got done with Thanksgiving, so a lot of you are probably, getting ready for the holidays and trying to get everything planned, like decorating your houses and stuff like that. And Starlight knows what it's like in the wintertime for working, what I do, like cleaning, and where everybody starts decorating. So some of you might already have your Christmas tree up, and some of you might be waiting till the end of the month. I know when Starlight did those things, I kind of did my Christmas right at the beginning of December all the way through at the end of December, and that tree was out the door, especially those live ones. So anyway, if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome, and you can follow me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman. Plus, you can give this video a thumbs up, and you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you could follow me on Instagram, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook at Kathy with a K, Dingman, Starlight. So anyway, I want to jump into this video. For some reason, my phone doesn't let me zoom in when I'm here, but it lets me zoom in when I'm outside. So I'm going to try it again. Yeah, it doesn't let me do it right now for some reason, but sometimes I'm able to zoom in on my video and sometimes I'm not. So here we go. Are you always honest to your children? And that's like when they are born, and when you start teaching them different things. Have you been being honest from the time that they were born? And I don't know how old your children are, or if you have children, or even grandchildren. So this is for parents, or even people that might want to have kids later on. So this is even good for you if you plan on having kids. And this is also good for parents, grandparents, because grandparents are not perfect either, right? Grandparents have made mistakes with their own kids, about telling the truth or lying, or, like making up stories, so not just parents might lie to their kids, but the grandparents. So that's what this video is. Such a very important video, especially if you want to be a good mom, a good dad. This is so important. So like, if you have children and maybe they're little, like when I was little. So when you're a parent, whether you're a mom or a dad, or maybe you're single, or you might have a boyfriend, girlfriend, or you might be married, husband or wife, and if you decide that you want to have babies, from the very beginning you want to be honest to your little kids, and Starlight most of the time was, and that's what this video is about. And so was Starlight honest all the time to her kids? Well, we're gonna get into that. So I know I started off on a good, when my kids were little, I told them the truth about everything but one thing. So, and that is what this video is about. I have seen throughout my life lots of parents that have lied to their kids. Lots of them. So I know that some of you that might watch my video might be guilty somewhere along the line of lying to your children. And, a lot of times it's because, when people lie to their kids, that they're lying to others. They're not just lying to the kids. They might be lying to them, their loved ones. like at their workplace, and they might be lying to other people all over, not telling the truth, so, and then they just have a habit of it. There's some people, they lie so much, they start actually believing in the lies that they actually tell other people and themselves, because now it's like an addiction. I do know people out there like that. If you confront them about something that 100% that they are lying about, they will deny it, like there's no end, so I do know people out there that do this, is that they have an addiction of lying all the time, and they will lie to their children, all sorts of stuff, so in the beginning, I have to say that might work when your kids are really little, because they don't really know, they in the beginning, little kids believe everything mommy and daddy tells them. And, then they start going to school, and then, they start learning how to talk. Then they start learning how to write, and learn how to read. They learn how to do math. They start learning all kinds of stuff at school, and then they get to hear a lot of stories, like the teachers will tell them. And as they get older, they start understanding stories. And at first, when kids are little, they don't know any better. So in the beginning, they might, like lie by, but a lot of times when they lie, they might have picked that up somewhere, that somebody was lying, and then they picked that up and thought that, hey, that's just how we do things, is that we lie about everything, like, did you steal the cookie from the cookie jar? No, mommy, I did not take that cookie. And there's crumbs, on their clothes or whatever, where they might have been afraid that they were going to get punished, because depending on the parents, there's some parents that do abuse their kids. And then there's other parents that really take time and really explain things, why they can't do things. And, a lot of times little kids will do things that are not safe, so the parents will explain and let them know how you can't do that. And in the beginning, it is rough, because the kids are just starting out learning how to talk and communicate and make sentences. So I do have a grandson. I don't know if he's lied yet. I haven't heard, that if he's lied or not. He's a little bit more than 4 right now. So, if you really want to bring up your kids in a good, healthy way that will really help them out in their future, you really have to be that example by telling them the truth all the time. And you're probably saying, but Starlight, Starlight said, but you didn't tell the truth and all the time, and now you want us to tell the truth? Yes, that's why I'm making this video, is because I only did what I was brought up to do. And a lot of people go through this, and I'm going to explain further on about this because of the holidays, because right now we're done with Thanksgiving, and it's tomorrow is going to be a full moon, and before you know it, the November is going to go bye-bye, and we're going to be starting the month of December. And then, in December, what holiday do we celebrate? Or not everybody celebrates that holiday, but Christmas will be coming. So now I'm going to ask you again, are you always honest to your children? Do you, are you honest with things in the house? If they catch you doing something, do you lie to them about it because you think that they're little? That you think, oh, they're too little, they don't understand that mommy and daddy are really lying to them. I'm going to try to think of some reasons why parents would lie to their kids. So parents can make up a lot of excuses with their kids and say, oh, you can't do that, and they will have different excuses for the kids why they cannot do something. But then, the kids will catch their mommy and daddy doing that. What kind of answers are you going to give, and are they the right kind of answers for your kids to hear. You know, a lot of times we'll say, oh, you can't have that because it's not good for you. Well, mommy, you know, daddy, if it's not good for me, why are you doing it? Isn't it not good for you too? You know, like cigarette smoke, you know. So those are different ways. Let me see. Maybe you got caught by your kid and they confronted you about something. Are you going to be honest and say, hey, mommy, I thought we're not supposed to do that, or daddy, I thought we're not supposed to do that, and I kind of caught you doing that, you know? And are you going to fib to them, you know, trick them one way or another and deceive them, and you know, and I'll tell you, if you do that, you are ruining your children. It will get worse as they get older, especially in their teen years, you know, where they will see you as a hypocrite, a liar, you know, a bad example, you know, and it can mess them up for their future, you know, like as far as, you know, like being a good parent themselves. If the mommy and daddy are lying about stuff, you know, kids are not stupid, you know, and this is how the universe, God, actually does things a lot of times, is that we learn a lot from our kids, you know. So, you know, you might see your kid having a tantrum and you're like, wow, my child's acting like me. Or, you know, might be crying over nothing, and how are you going to respond to your child? Are you guilty maybe of the same thing? You know, maybe, you know, children pick up so many things from the adults. I have seen it over and over again. If you're the adult that starts yelling and screaming when you get upset, well, then your child is going to follow your example. So, or maybe I have witnessed this, is, do you throw things around when you get upset? Starlight has done that one time, because I was in a relationship. It's kind of weird how this happened, is that that's how he was. And you know, like it does, you can catch other people's habits when you're around them a lot. And I accidentally threw an apple, and it's so sad to say that I wasn't really looking at where I threw it, and I hit my daughter with it, because I was upset, and then I couldn't find my cigarettes, and you know, it was a horrible thing that happened. And after that, I quit smoking cigarettes, because I knew that was definitely a little too much there, for my daughter, poor thing, you know. So what kind of example are you to your children? And this is where kids really catch mommy and daddy a lot lying, is when they know the truth of what's going on in the house. And say, if, for instance, family comes to the house and they catch you lying to your relatives, you know, they might call up and say, hey, you want to come over tonight? And your kids know what you're doing later on. You ain't doing nothing later on. But then they hear you on the phone. I'll tell you what, kids listen more than you think. They're little spies. Did you know that? They will, you know, they will act like they don't hear you on the phone, but they're listening to every word that you're saying on the phone. And you're on the phone and you're like, oh, you know, because the parents don't want to go to their house, you know, for whatever reason. And the children will hear mommy and daddy on the phone, or whoever, lying on the phone and saying, oh, well, we got plans later on, you know. There are, you know, there's a lot of people that lie, you know. Everybody lies to a certain degree, you know. There's what they say, a little white lie, which I think is a joke, why they call it a little white lie, you know. And then there's, you know, some people are addicted to lying all the time. They don't even know the truth anymore. Not only they lie to themselves, they lie to everybody, and it doesn't even bother them anymore. You know, I know people like that, and I can't even be around them anymore. I don't trust them, you know. So with your kids though, how are you going to be this Christmas? You know, how old are your kids? How are they going to celebrate Christmas? Are they going to celebrate Christmas, you know, like with a Christmas tree. Like there's parents that celebrate Christmas in so many different ways. Some because of their background and maybe from their family, they don't celebrate Christmas. There's I know Jehovah Witnesses, they do not they don't go out and buy toys and presents and do that kind of stuff. Absolutely not. But they will take a paycheck from you if you give them one. So sorry, Jehovah Witnesses. But they will take gifts, like in that way, but they're not gonna go out and buy any. So everybody is different depending on their background, and sometimes it has nothing to do with their background, because everybody changes. You might have came from a family that didn't celebrate Christmas, and you got upset the whole time as a kid and growing up, and felt like you were without, and felt like, like you didn't fit with the society, because that's a big, huge reason why a lot of people celebrate Christmas, as far as Santa Claus and the reindeer and the elves, and we can't forget Mrs. Claus, right? So a lot of people do that because that's what their family did. And then they might not want to do it, but then they think that the child is going to be upset, and like you've got to do it because everybody else is doing it. Like when you go to the school, they're doing it. Now you got to have a Christmas party at the school, and then if you go to church, now you got to have a Christmas party at the church, and then if you got split families, you got one family that does Christmas one way and another family over here that does. And now, how many Christmas parties do you got to go to when Christmas comes? Do you go to grandpa's and grandma's house or do they come over? How about your best friend maybe? How about at your workplace, where they're celebrating Christmas too? So what are you going to tell your children? Are you going to tell them again this year that you better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why Santa Claus is coming to town? Are you really gonna lie to them again and tell them about that there's a Santa Claus? And I never could figure out, I was just talking to a lady at work the other day, is how does Santa Claus, like Santa Claus going down a chimney, and hopefully there's not wood and on fire, it's kind of silly that they even created such a thing, but Starlight believed it. Our family used to ride around in a car, and I remember sitting in the back seat, my feet, just in the air, whatever, in the back seat, sitting there and singing Santa Claus songs and the Snowman song, and all excited for that whole month of December. My whole childhood, I believed in Santa Claus. I believed in this, Frosty the Snowman. I believed in the Tooth Fairy. I believed in the Easter Bunny. So I believed in a lot of stuff. I believed a lot of lies is what I found out. I was deceived by my parents. They set me all up. And that is exactly how this matrix is. They set us right up. They did. They set us up for a fall, is to deceive us and to lie to us. And it's a big money making thing for the December, for January, for December 25th to celebrate, and the reason why they came up with Santa Claus, even though there was a real Saint Nick long time ago, is they wanted to take away about Jesus being born, around that time, and that's why they created that, just so the kids would actually worship Santa Claus instead of really understanding the real reason for the Christmas, for the holiday. So I can't tell you what to do, but really, if you are falling with, thinking that you got to follow the crowd, you don't have to follow the crowd, please. It says in the Bible, the wide way is the way to destruction. So if you're following what everybody else does, then you're setting yourself up for a big fall, and not only you, but your children. And you're probably thinking, yeah, but Starlight, you did. Yeah, I did. And then I started going to church, and then I found out the real reason why we're celebrating Christmas. And then I told my daughter when she was around 5 years old that there was no such thing as Santa Claus. And I was afraid, because when I found out, when the Tooth Fairy, hello Tooth Fairy, where did you go? Or actually it was the Easter Bunny. And probably the Tooth Fairy didn't show up either at other times, because my mother would forget, just like I did when I was a Tooth Fairy for my kids, is that the Easter Bunny didn't show up at my house. And I was so upset, because I was a good girl. I worked so hard being good, and I wanted to get rewarded for being such a good kid. And the Easter Bunny never came with eggs. No, I even like the boiled eggs, decorated, and go out and find them all over, and have some, an Easter basket and some candy. And Starlight woke up so excited, looking around for the Easter Bunny, and there is absolutely no Easter Bunny to be found. No eggs, no candy, no basket, nothing, absolutely nothing. So I must have cried and got really upset when I was a kid. And my mother, somehow or another, even my father, must have forgot. I don't know how, because we go to school, one of my brothers at least had been going to school and making stuff for the holidays. So I don't know how we never got anything on that day. And my mom went out to the store and bought like a bag of those eggs with marshmallow inside, the colorful ones, and put it on my bed. And that is when I found out that it was all a lie. I was devastated. That was the only thing as a child that I had to look forward to as a kid, so you don't want to do that to your kids. It really will mess them up. And not all the kids get, all kids take it differently. My daughter, when she found out, she thought it was funny, but she was so young. I was way older than my daughter. I don't even know how old I was, but I had a lot of kids trying to tell me it was fake and it was phony, but I didn't believe them. My brothers would tell me, it made me look like a fool that I believed in such a thing, and reindeer flying in the sky, elves running around and all that stuff, so I am glad that when my kids were little, because I told the truth to my kids all the time. That was my one lie that I did, was about the holidays. And I had fun decorating. That's another part where the families, the kids, the parents, they want to have fun, decorating the house. You could decorate the house, you can even buy your kids gifts, but you don't really have to tell them anything about it, lying to them about Santa Claus and all that stuff. They don't need to know about that. You could watch the movies, watch all that stuff, but say, yeah, they created this. It's like a fantasy thing. It's cute, whatever. But you don't have to, lie to them about the whole thing. Let them understand that, that is not real. It's fake, because it could screw them up later on, where they might start believing in other stuff, that don't exist, because you're creating a reality that's not even real for them. There's no Santa Claus or snowman that runs around and talks. People that do acid, or do some drugs, maybe their snowman is talking, but really you really want them to really know the truth about this reality and not to lie to them. So like I said, you could still go out and buy them a gift. And of course, like Starlight doesn't think people have to go that crazy. They really do. They start off in the beginning, and Starlight did the same thing, and I learned really young, but I didn't do that anymore, is, like if you're going to get gifts for your kids for a Christmas, is that, you really want to start off really small. They don't have to have a bunch of presents, really the best thing to do is get them things that they really, really need. They need a new blanket, give them a new blanket. They need some new clothes, get them some clothes. Those are, the necessities that they, you know, and they'll still be happy, because they got clothes, because it's going to be for school when they go to school and all that stuff. And if you start off on the right foot, and of course you got these kids that they get so much and they're still not happy. I know I've had my moments when I was a kid. So like, and you know what, when you buy the presents for your kids and you tell them the truth, you get full credit. Why give all the credit for all the hard work that you've done and give it to a Santa Claus that doesn't even exist? So it's an all-win situation. It is better to tell them when they're little than when they get older, like 10, 11, 12. And like I said, I really don't know how old. I'm assuming that maybe I was like about 10 years old by the time I found out. So like I said, I was really, it ruined my whole, my childhood was not good believe me, my childhood was not good in the first place. It just, like destroyed any possible good thing happening in my life when I was a kid. The greatest thing I can remember as a kid is that we had land, and I would go out and spend time in nature in the back of where we lived. That was my greatest memories, is just being out in nature. So anyway, I really hope, like you think about what you're going to do this year as far, and even if you got grandkids, like of course grandparents, it's not like Santa Claus. Does Santa Claus go to the grandparents' house? Where a lot of times the grandparents, but grandpas and grandmas, they can really help their kids out and say, we did this to you guys, and really maybe it's not the best thing, really to lie to your kids, because later on in my life, I realized it was a big mistake, to lie to you guys, because a lot of times the older people, like grandpas and grandmas, they find out a lot more about reality, that it's been a big joke played on us as far as this real reality in this world. So anyway, I can't force you to tell your kids the truth, but this video I wanted to make way ahead of time for Christmas. So then this way you have plenty of time to decide. And you know what? To really let you know, you would save a lot of money. Instead of, making those people rich on selling stuff. That's all it is. People are ripping people off by buying a bunch of stuff they didn't even need in the first place. So you're wasting your money away if you're buying all this stuff to decorate the house for Santa Claus that really doesn't exist. And the reason I came up with this video is because I went on to watch YouTube videos, and they had an ad, and I was like, oh great, I do not like Santa Claus. I call him Satan Claus, because that's exactly what they did, is to try to get all the kids to worship Satan Claus instead of God. And they had a little Santa Claus, like yo big, and it must have batteries in it or something, and here he's wiggling his butt around, and people are gonna go out and buy that stupid stuff, like to go out and, you're wasting your money, really. You think about it, it's just a laugh about a Santa Claus with his butt shaking, and, like he's moving his butt around. And that's where they get us, they get us by buying stuff that we absolutely don't need. And it's a big show and tell, a big laugh, and it's really, there's no sense in buying it, so don't get all tricked by all the beautiful Christmas stuff out there that's really just going to take your money. And it's a big money making thing out there, like that's why the radio stations and the TVs and the internet, they're, they put, what is it? It gets worse every year, where, they already got like Halloween way, they're already trying to get you to buy Halloween stuff way before the time. Christmas stuff, they get it before Halloween stuff, where, I've gone in stores where I'm like, we had fall and they already had Christmas, and I was like, wow, they already got Christmas stuff. And, they had really not very much fall stuff left, and they had some Halloween stuff, but really, they really was pushing the Christmas stuff, getting you in that Christmas spirit to get your money, you know, and they don't care that you're lying to your kids. They want you to lie to their kids, your kids. So, please, you know, like if you want to be that good parent, and not saying that you're not a good parent, it's just that really being a good parent really starts with being honest, and that starts with any relationship, whether it's your kids, your husband or wife. You don't want to teach your kids that it's okay to lie, you know, or even your boss, you know, or the church people. A lot of people, you know, they're hypocrites and, you know, very judgmental. Yeah, in the church, you know, where you think that people should be honest, you know, so a lot of backstabbing in there, just like at workplaces, you know, a lot of backstabbing and drama and all that goody stuff. Ugh, vomit. So anyway, I really hope you get a lot of help, and I really love you, and I really want the best for you and your children. This is what's going to help the world out, is if we all just said, you know what, we're not going to buy the junk. You know, really, it is junk. Like, I love decorating a tree, don't get me wrong, but really when it comes to Santa Claus and the reindeer and all that, I love deer, you know, but reindeer with a red nose, flying in the sky. So, and I really don't care about the deer heads on the walls. We're not talking about those kind of deer heads, but, you know, that kind of decorations. I see enough of those. You know, just beautiful live deer, you know. I don't want to see their heads chopped off. So anyway, I really do love all of you, and I really hope you get a lot of help from this video. You can give this video a thumbs up. You can share my videos with your family, your friends, your cat, your dog, your deer. I just seen a couple today. Also, you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you could follow me on Instagram, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook at Kathy with a K Dingman. So anyway, I love all of you, and this is Starlight. Love and light. Peace.